I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hey buzzers, what's going on? You're tuning into a very special episode of the Ultimate Tag After Show. It's season 1, episode 2. Real Men Do Cry. I'm your host, Alikona Bradford, joined by my whole cast and crew. I'm so excited, so give them a shout out. We're gonna start with our taggers first. So hello, Laura. I'm gonna mess up your last name.
You got there.
Yeah, okay. And then we've Corbin Reinhardt.
What's up?
All right. And then, of course, my fellow ladies, Erykah Fisher, what's going on?
Hey, girl, hey.
Hey, girl, hey. Then we have Aisha Zaza.
No.
And, of course, we have the Thurmanator. What up?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hi. Austin Santee.
Hey, guys. How's we doing?
And, of course, chilling outside, we have Devon True.
What up?
All right, so if you guys are tuning in live, I love when you co-host with me. So join in the chat and please start with your hashtag who I love to hate, which basically is a person that was so good that you hated them because they're so good. I'm gonna actually start first. Last week I started last, but my hashtag who I love to hate. She already knows. It's the Iron Giantess. I'm gonna say only because like you don't see it on camera, but we had like a full-blown, not really, but a conversation because I was trying to hop over you, but I was afraid to hop over you because Laura from last week, or not, who was it? Sarah was like, she will pull you down. Do not jump over her. And so you were there, and I was like, but I don't want to kick you. Anyway, so that's my hashtag who I love to hate. I'm gonna pass the torch to you. Who do you love to hate?
Okay, you guys were beasts, and you guys were the race that Brooke and I both got spanked on. And I couldn't cut it. But we both went out there and got our butts spanked. And Zaza,
I knew this was coming.
It wasn't just that we each got subbed out. It was you were angry. Like you and like all of us, she is frightening when we left. So we were all scared of you through that first race. And then we left the course and you're a fine human, so we don't like. I quite enjoy you now, but at the time, both Brooke and I were like, I don't like. She's scary.
You guys are scary.
I know you were just like scary back, and we weren't used to it. We were used to just getting to be scary alone.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I had a lot of fun. That was by far my favorite game for sure. I didn't mean to cut you off though, but
Who's your hashtag who you love to hate?
I mean, really, I love to hate Bulldog because he got me in that first game but like, so we ran through all the taggers, as you guys remember, and he came out like hot, and I was like, oh my God, like watching him from the back of the arena and he was just like galloping over these hurdles. I was like, this is where I go out. Like I was petrified at him coming after me at light speed. And I went through the tunnel and I hesitated for like a millisecond. I was gonna come back through to like juke him. And that's when he ended up getting me. And so he did tag me out really quickly, but then I really hated how like proud he was that he got me out so quick after being in there for almost 5 minutes. So I did talk a little bit of smack back to him because he was like thought he was the man getting him out. I was like, no, like the other taggers were the ones that freaking wore me out. So I love to hate the Bulldog.
Nice. Thurman, who do you hashtag love to hate?
Ooh, I hashtag love to hate the flow because I feel that before we started Revenge Tag, he already like counted me out. He thought I was a layup. He thought he was going to get me out. You know, they had a bet, can I get him out in 30 seconds? So I would say I would hashtag love to hate the flow, but honestly, in order to be the best, you got to go against the best, and he honestly gave me a good game. So it's like a love and hate relationship, but I think I hate him more.
Yeah. Let's take it to a tagger then, the kid.
Oh, me, huh? Okay, so my love to hate, I gotta say, during all the episodes, I don't think I was taken down by anybody, but you, Alikona, when you came up on me, you pushed me back, and I landed back on my back, and I just even seeing that on TV made me feel super crazy about it. So yeah, I think I have to love to hate you.
That's like my only one moment of glory.
I got the tag. I was like happy about that, but at the
I
same
was
time,
so mad about that too. I was like, you butt. Erykah, who do you hashtag love to hate?
I would probably say the Iron Giantess.
mm,
Laura. Because I love her to death. Like I love her to death. I mean, she's an awesome person, and just looking at, you know, all her Instagram pictures, like she's very inspiring. But then when she was like, "You better run," I was like, wait, what? I got a flashback to like, yeah, I got a flashback to like my coach, and I'm like, well, all right, well, bye. But I love her more than I hate her, though. So,
Austin, hashtag who I love to hate.
You know, I'd love to say the Bulldog, but he kind of just like wore me down. He wasn't like, you know, so much faster than me. So I hashtag love to hate the kid, because I think my fate kind of went downhill after I chased after him in Revenge Tag. They actually asked me, they're like, hey, who got you in Revenge Tag? And I was like, the kid, and that's who they put in for the final obstacle for me. And I think just knowing he was back there, you know, scared me a little bit, because I knew how fast he really was.
All right, Devon, that leaves you. Who do you hashtag love to hate?
If I can be all the way honest, I hate that rule in the game to where it was a tiebreaker. They should have had sudden death. Mm-hmm. Me and Austin should have just went head to head.
I agree with that for sure.
We should have went head to head for that one. But if I do have to say somebody, it would be LaFleur, because of that one tag that he got me. He did a lot of trash talking, you know, and it was just like, you know, I'm gassed. So like I've been running all day long. Like, calm down. But yeah, he's a good guy though.
Nice. Cool. So then let's just start with the episode. We'll start with the first thing, which was chase tag. And yeah, okay, first of all, Iron Giantess, we came running out there and we're like, okay, and all three of us, like, you know, you're not supposed to be friends, but of course we all talked and we're like, okay, we're gonna go this way together. And then you came out there and you're like, come here, bunnies, or something. I was like, I'm not a bunny.
So you guys were the first taggers who strategized, because you had, you know, like you had some idea of what was going on. So we found that, like, we found that out based on kind of like communication from the people in the background that were sort of supposed to stir the pot and like make us feel like, come on, like, get them. And they definitely let us know, like, you guys better be careful. They're strategizing. They know what to do. And they were like, this is not a game anymore. They are serious. And bunnies, you guys, when we would run the test course, Bunny was one of our test taggers, and they would just send her out, and we were like greyhounds after her, and it became like a little thing that we would say, like, come here, little bunny. And so you guys just became like our victims. We subbed you out, but you know, you were following with some badass females who we had been chasing and practicing with.
So then what happened with, like, since we're starting with the girls, Aisha, you guys were facing off, and all I saw was Laura, you like shot through the obstacle, and I was like, oh my God, what happened?
There were a couple times where you guys let it hang just long enough where I'm like, I'm not a parkour kid. I played football as a kid. I'm from the South. Like, I'm gonna go at you. So like when you guys would kind of deke and stuff, there was I think I'm probably the only tagger stupid enough to like really lunge at you instead of do a fancy flip. Like, I'll just put my body in the game, and you guys got that. I got it. But you guys you got it.
I was actually laughing because at one point, you know, they keep the mic on you when you were getting out, and you're like, this is crap.
Yeah, they called us out. That was the first time where I knew we could get subbed out. Like, where the refs were like, okay, that's it, you're out. And I was like, what the hell? Like, I'm still playing. I wasn't. Yeah. I was dying. But I still wanted to keep playing.
So, ladies, for you guys, like, thoughts, what was going on in your mind? Because I'm sure, like, we all had our internal dialogue happening.
You know, it's funny, like, as much of us, you know, we really only had like one strategy, which was to go to the same side in the beginning. And then after that, it was kind of like each man for himself. And it's funny because as you think of like beforehand, you're like, all right, I'm going to do this if this happens. And you have all these like hypothetical situations. When you're in there, at least for me, I was like blacked out. I can't even hardly remember, you know, like if I had a strategy before, just because it was like you're redlining and it's more about like fight or flight and your instincts are just kind of taking over. And so I just figured like if I could lure, you know, Giantess or any of the taggers in to just like burn the clock a little bit. I mean, that was my strategy. Like I was trying to play smart instead of like waste my energy like running around, which I ran around plenty. But I was just, I mean, it was absolutely terrifying, you know, like I know Giantess thought I was mean, but I was like, oh my God, she's so terrifying. I was scared for sure. So I was just trying to keep away and like get away as fast as I could, which worked. So I was like stoked every time. I think what made that game so fun were there were so many close calls like that. And like, that's what made, I thought that game super fun, you know, because it was like a real match, like players against taggers instead of just the taggers getting, you know, the first tagger generally got the first person out that they went after. And so that was really fun that we actually had like a volley going, you know?
You guys were beat. Like you were incredible.
Amen. And I'm so mad. Actually, if I could hashtag who I love to hate, it'd be the editor of this show because so much good stuff got taken out. You did have a great moment with the boss. And it's so funny because even when they interviewed you, the Giantess, you could see her elbows like right in the side frame and like totally just cut her out.
I was so bummed out that I was pumped on that standoff that I had with the boss. It was so much fun because I thought she was going after you guys. At that point, we were on the left side of the course and you and Erykah had taken off and she started to run. And I was like, oh, perfect. She's going after them. So I kind of stayed behind. And then she looks back at me and I was like, oh my God, like this was not how this was supposed to go. So then she like came back after me and we did like a little dance around like a couple of the hurdles. And then we ended up at like one of those pillars where we were like looking at each other through the plexiglass. And she reached around a couple times, tried to grab my tag, and I was dodging it. And then I finally just like zipped off around her and got away. But it was just so fun to do that. And like for that, I was looking forward to that probably most out of like all the 4 games of mine. And then for it to be cut, I was like, no. But the whole game was just so fun, like so high energy. I can't even believe it was as long as it was. It felt like it went by in like 30 seconds.
Yeah. Well, for the guys, you guys had some great moments too. Austin, you were the first one that got eliminated, but at the same time, technically,
the first one.
No offense, guys, but technically, Austin, you kind of lasted the longest in terms of being chased down for the longest amount of time, and you just had the unfortunate luck of him targeting you down. So
it's one of those things, you know, like Laura, I have a football background. I'm not necessarily a parkour guy, so like I'm all speed and brute. But you know, the kid is a perfect example of this. Is they're fast and elegant. Like they just fly over those obstacles, and like I don't think people realize how winded you are. I have 45 seconds of running and jumping as fast as you can. Honestly, I felt like we were 3 mice in the cage with a snake, and the bulldog just so happened to be a snake, and he came after me, man. I just wish I didn't fall so many times on national television. That was kind of embarrassing.
I saw that. I was like, I want to give Austin a helmet so bad because you hit your head so many times. Oh my God. I was like, is he okay? That's what I'm used to. But okay, was that like your shoes? Was that your adrenaline or both?
You know, I think it's a combination of both. When you're used to playing football, you don't really care if you get knocked down or fall over. It's kind of like a part of the game. So they were new shoes, and I threw them away after that game. So I definitely don't recommend those shoes to anybody. But I think it's just a lack of experience in that kind of arena. If I had practiced a little bit more or known what to prepare for, I think I'd have been a little bit more tactile on my feet.
And then for you other gentlemen, any highlights that you guys want to bring up or talk about that maybe didn't get explained to the audience? You get to explain yourself a little.
Well, I thought it was a great strategy to take the high ground in the first course, but I realized that was completely the worst one because it gave me a target in the course. The bulldog came straight at me, and I was terrified because we were on the top pillar, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to fall straight to my face. Even though I did that episode, but I think that was a terrible strategy. I would never recommend that you go to the top in the first chase tag because you're going to just make yourself a pinpoint target.
Yeah. Devon, anything for you? Because I know that like myself, you were the first one tagged out. So, I mean, anything you would have done differently?
Yeah, nah, not really. I mean, I would just say, just because I think I did a little bit of trash talking with the Bulldog, so I would have probably not said anything because he kept going after me. So that was pretty much the only thing, really. That's the only thing I would do different.
Yeah, that's funny because like the producer kept trying to get us to talk trash, and like they showed us clips of everybody.
That's what it is, exactly.
Go out. Yeah, and communicate. And I was like, y'all must think I'm stupid. I am not going to talk trash about anybody because I'm a little dumb.
Yeah, they kind of baited me.
Yeah. The kid, it was like, who gave you the most run for your money? Like as far as
well, one thing I'll say right off the bat is that if you do want to get tagged out first, it's talking trash. That is the way to do it because that gets in our heads. Like, right, it gets to the center of our brain, and we really want to get you first. But one of the main things that we saw in the show also is, especially in the first course, when you either do have one person go one way and then two people go the other way, or all three people, it's really difficult to find out what's the better method. If you should go 3 on one side or just 2 on the other. And sometimes the tagger would go after that one person, and that sucks for them. Other times they would go after all 3. For the most part, sorry, what was the question? You were saying that...
like, who gave you a run for your money? Like, who were you like, okay?
Oh, definitely Austin. Austin for sure, especially in Revenge Tag. I think we got to the point where we had to throw in 2 taggers, Jesse and I, LaFleur and I. And I remember LaFleur got him, but we had to pinch him off right up like at a certain point. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah. Going into that next element that we had, Erykah, I'm going to shoot this over to you because we had Dodge Tag next, and you killed it. Like, you came from behind. Some of us provided a little bit of a distraction. I'm just and you were just like, pew, pew, pew. So talk us through that event for you.
Yeah, that event was fun, and like Laura, she yelled at me again. So I just took off, and she reminded me of my track coach was like, "You better run," and I'm like, "All right, well, I guess I gotta run." So, and I felt like it was just a straight shot, like it was a straightaway. I went up, and then I saw Corbin. I'm like, "This is not happening." So I went back down and like just went. But yeah, it was a really fun game. I really liked that one a lot. So.
One thing I want to say too is that you had a beautiful hurdle. I think they slow-moed it too because it looked absolutely phenomenal when he went through that on the other side. So fast. It's crazy.
That was a frustrating event for me because there were a few times where I made it all the way to the end, and then Corbin, you took my tag, and I was like, "No, I just need so much energy to get here."
Oh yeah. Oh, especially going through Iron Giantess. It's too much.
Out that game, we started funneling them to each other. Corbin and I were like in sync on that one.
We had strategy.
I could tell.
Yeah, we were. But Erykah, you are not strategizable. Funneling, and then you would just zig. Everybody's going, and you're just through already. So we just whatever. Do your thing, girl.
Yeah. And then Aisha, for you, like, what was going on for you? Because I know you went and you had such a huge lead going into that particular element. And then, we kind of got blocked out. So what happened for you?
I was a little bit intimidated by that course, to be honest. Like, I really wanted to utilize the trampolines more, but in like the 2 minutes that we had to kind of walk through that course, I had jumped a little bit too far forward and like kind of caught my foot underneath like the trampoline. And I was like, man, I'm not trying to eat it or like hurt myself over this event. So my strategy was just to kind of like Erykah, I was just hurdling like what was on the ground. And then the only other strategy I had was like, by the time I got to Corbin, I knew I wanted to like roll on the mat because I was like, well, if he's going to tag me, like he's going to have a hell of a time if I'm like, spinning through the air, like trying to get to the buzzer. So that was really like the only thing that I did, but I was excited to like, obviously hold the lead. I thought that I think I scored 2 in that one, and I got to the buzzer. I think I hit the buzzer 3 times, but like I got tagged right at the buzzer. So that one was a little bit of a safer game for me.
Yeah. For you guys as taggers too, because I asked this last crew, you guys had the opportunity to flip the switch outside of like a revenge tag, but when you guys were practicing for the actual show before us, did you guys both have the opportunity of being chased down?
We did. We definitely played, like, we had the option to play our role in the game or to be runners. And a lot of people ran it just to see what it felt like. And we know, like, that course was dangerous. And if anybody was watching, like, it was a serious, like, you're running full speed, you're hitting tramps, there's huge jumps. And especially for people who aren't parkour professionals, like, that's an intimidating course. You're either running with your eyes closed, just as fast as you can to the buzzer, or you're playing it safe.
One thing that I will say too is that when we were doing the testing, like really, really early on in the stages, they didn't have the courses that we had, for Warner Brothers. And these were rails, these were, rafters, like the sort of material was all metal. And so there were times when we would have to be chased and chase people. And the materials were so hard that we were just really afraid of them. And we were just going so fast. And I remember a couple of people they were feeling off about it.
Oh, yeah. It was bad. Like, we got more hurt because you guys know we were running them all the time. We were all bleeding and bruised.
Yeah. For the guys, all three of you guys, like, such a great fight that you put up. I mean, Thurman, at one point, like, you banged your head real good too.
Yeah, it was honestly the worst headache I ever had in my life. And I was like, the worst thing I could do in this show is fall on my face. And then I fell on my face and I was like, you know what, just go balls to the wall now because you're going to be a meme. Everybody's going to repost it. Only thing that upset me, like, I would say to me personally, I felt that all three of us like shined in Dodge Tag. We literally went balls to the wall. We sacrificed everything. That's why at the end, I think me and Devon like hugged it out. I dapped up Austin because we literally sacrificed our bodies. We didn't have high scores, but we did fight against each other to make sure we get the buzzer. And like it was like so much you didn't get to see all our dives and all our epic moments.
Keep in mind too that when you fell on your face right there, you still got the tag. You still got the buzzer.
Yeah, I was proud of myself. Honestly, I was like so dazed. I was like, okay, I don't think
Thurman, I'm so confused what was even happening. It looked like you fell on your ass on the platform and then fell forward onto your face. Like what?
I kind of bounced off the platform and just like face planted. And I mean, like when I hit it, I was like, do I just play dead so that you can feel bad? Go for the buzzer.
So good.
Oh my god! And then at one point, you guys like landed on top of each other. I don't know, Devon, if that was you and Thurman.
Yeah. Thurman landed on me.
I think I landed on Devon twice. I did a Superman dive and landed on that. Didn't make the final cut, but then the other time I just like fell straight on him, and I felt so bad.
I looked up. Yeah, I looked up, and it was just the scariest sight. I thought it was all over. Damn, on national TV. This is how it ends.
Yeah.
The name of that course should have been collision course because I also collided with Thurman on that one. And I think Austin Array, the big deal, landed on top of me and like I was disoriented. And I think I didn't even touch the buzzer. I thought I got tagged because Austin landed on me. And my family afterwards was like, no, you didn't get tagged. You just turned around instead of touching the buzzer. So it was one of those courses that just really got you disoriented.
Yeah.
Oh.
Really quick, I'm just noticing there's people in the chat, so I want to give a few shout outs. Let's see, Grant Kenyon. I don't know if he's friends with anybody. He's like, what's up? We've got hi Thurmans everywhere. Hi Laura.
Hey.
Everyone's just saying hi. Iron Giantess for the win, says Dylan. Oh my god, so we have all these things going on. Yeah, but anyways. Thank you guys for tuning in for the chat. If you guys do have questions, if I miss it, just keep shouting at me. Eventually the engineer will yell at me and tell me that you guys have questions for everybody else. So anyways, after we did Dodge Tag, obviously we got eliminated. Kind of bummed that they even edited down our interviews. And I was like, I mean, I know I'm a heavy person. Yep. I was like 8 octaves higher in everything I was talking about. I was like, oh, that sucks. But any highlights or information for all you contestants that maybe didn't get shown that you're like, oh, I wish they would have known like X, Y, and Z about me. I'm throwing it to any of you guys.
Oh.
Okay, cool. No big deal. Let's just go into then. I want to talk about, because we did talk about Revenge Jag really, really quickly. Corbin, obviously you got to go head to head with Austin.
Yeah.
That was like the most exciting event. I'm not gonna lie. Austin, there were a few times where, I mean, what was your strategy as far as the fact that you have to stay far enough away to not get tagged, but at the same time close enough to where you push the button, you got to go after them.
Honestly, that match was so much fun because it's like a reincarnation of Pac-Man, and I just loved it. But like, we did our practice round, and I got out in like 10 seconds. I was like, this game sucks. I was like, I'm gonna get out so quick. And we started it, and you know, the adrenaline kicks in as soon as you're like in the arena with the fans screaming. And the big deal came after me first. Austin, he's the guy that I kind of looked up to because he's, you know, 205 pounds and he does flips and stuff. And I'm like, I want to be able to do that. So it was really cool to be able to have that moment with him, to chase him down and actually catch him. But we were both just like feeling like exhausted with each other. Like I could see him breathing and I was breathing, and like we used my 10 seconds of the buzzer to like actually just catch our breath. And then I finally tagged him, and the kid comes in, and it wasn't even fair. Like I tried to go after him. I wouldn't even try to get him because he was so fast.
No, what I will say about that is that revenge tag was the one that I feared of the most, because it takes everything that I do in parkour and it basically limits you. It disables you. I can't go over these things. I can't do flips over anything. So I had to actually treat this like it was a track. And that was one of those things where I was thinking to myself, am I going to tag this person? I mean, these people are runners. These people are crazy fast. So it was one of those things where I think in my head, I was so fearful of it. But when it played out, I think it looked pretty good.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I think the one thing that you can't see is just my legs felt so heavy by the end of that. It's like 2.5 minutes of sprinting around. Like I could barely even pick them up anymore, you know?
Couldn't imagine.
Really quick, Corbin, I have a few compliments for you. Miranda Wolf says, I love Ultimate Tag, especially when Corbin is doing parkour during it. And then also, Empire to Ashes says, those scenes of Corbin jumping on Laura was the most adorable thing.
People love that. Okay, we came up with that like right backstage. We're like, what should we do? And she's huge and I'm small, so it made sense to be a koala for a few minutes.
There you go.
But yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
I'm glad they kept that in.
Yes, yeah, but you know, I was so upset too for the girls. Like, this is the second week in a row where the girls' element got fast forwarded through for whatever reason. So Don't Tag, they didn't really even show the event that much. And Eric, I want to give a shout out to you. I don't know if you did it on purpose or not, but I was watching you and I was like, she is so smart. Like, for those of you who did not get to see the amazingness, when we started the event, like, you just clung on. And that was it. Yeah. And it was so smart because no one, like the tagger didn't know what to do. Did you plan that? Or was that like, oh my God, I'm scared. Whoops.
It wasn't planned. Like the day before, I don't know who it was, the competitor who broke their ankle, but I was just like, we're doing this
Trevor.
right now. Yeah, it was Trevor. And so the very next day, they're like, yeah, you're doing dome. And I'm like, ugh, really? And so when I get up there, I'm like, I'm really 30 feet in the air. And then JJ Watt's like, you ready? I'm like, not really. And he's like, let's play some tag. Like, so I'm like, grab. And then Atomic Ant's just looking at me like, are you okay? I'm like, So, yeah.
Well, yeah, just to finish that out though, but Erykah did end up getting more points for that because she lasted a little bit longer. But again, it was just one of those things where everybody approaches the dome and they just start going right away. And then obviously that makes way for the tagger to find you, and her pausing long second just got you that extra point ahead. And then Aisha, you went in there. Anything you want to highlight that people did not get to see?
Yeah, so Dome was actually, it was a little bit like of a disappointing game for me because I had gone when I looked up, when my tag was pulled, it was right at 2 minutes, which is where you get a bonus point. And it took forever, but they did like a lot of reviewing, and they said that like when one of my tags was pulled, it wasn't the timer didn't go off exactly when the tag was pulled, and so they rolled my time back by 1 second. And I was pretty pissed about that because obviously I felt like I made it to a bonus point, which would have kept Erykah and I earning the same in that game. So that was really the only thing that I was, that would have been really hard to like explain though, like on TV. So I felt like that was probably a reason why they didn't maybe show like that whole thing. Dome was really intimidating. There were so many factors in that thing that made it impossible to have a plan. Like you literally were just, for one, it was terrifying being chased by like a wild animal. That's what it felt like. There was like a cheetah coming after you in a little cage suspended 30 feet in the air. And there were so many elements that I really wish that I think it would have been helpful. Well, it would have been helpful in all the rounds, but like, especially in Dome, to just have like, I don't know, a few more minutes to practice on it, because there were so many unknowns that like you didn't want to take any risks while you were going through your round. Because like I actually have a lot, I like upper body strength is like, it's a strength of mine. And I would have really liked to use the handlebars like underneath and gone under, but I was afraid that like I wouldn't be able to get myself back up and that I would spend like too much energy. So it was just kind of limiting, I felt like, to, you know, it was scary and it was limiting, and it was just like all around a really terrifying event, but fun nonetheless. You know, like I don't know the next time I'll be doing anything like that. So.
And then for you taggers, I know the kid, you got to partake in this particular episode. Laura, I don't know if you had to do it in any other episode, but what was your guys' experience the first time you actually saw that particular course?
Oh, I don't know if Laura wants to go first, but when we were looking at it, I think that the dome tag was the scariest one for all taggers, just in general. I think unanimously we were all kind of sketched about that, mainly because it's so high in the air and you don't exactly know what the person you're going to tag is going to do. And also, it's not like, you know, if you're being chased, then you try to, you know, survive. But if you're a tagger, you have to chase them and be up 30 feet in the air. And it's such a scary thing when you're going out and you have to, like, somebody goes down, you're like, okay, I have to hang down there as well. And I think that was one of the things that really scared all of us. But I love the bar. So that was one of my favorite games, actually.
Yeah, anticipating somebody's movement and like freakish patterns. It was kind of like chasing mice up there. So some of it, especially like those of us that were taller, this was not a game. We were in awe, but we were not excited about this game. Like for those of us like Ross, the Viking, hell no. He's 6'8". There's no way you're putting him. He's not even gonna fit in a kid's monkey, like a gym, jungle gym. So you're not going to put them in a dome 30 feet in the air. And most of us were, when we were playing dome, which was, you know, it's the third or fourth event, it was later in the season, and a lot of us had worked our asses off. Like we were screwed up. Our bodies were tired. People were exhausted. Their hamstrings were pulled. Their clavicles were like crumbling. So the idea of some of the people like moving around in there, hitting their heads, it was an amazing game. But it's not like the taggers went in there thinking this was going to be a piece of cake.
Right.
Oh, also one thing that I do want to say too is that when you watch it on there, you watch it from the dome and they kind of cut off where we come from. But the taggers have to be up in this little like bird's nest that's on top of it. And we get a ladder and we have to come down onto the dome. And when you come onto the dome, there's no solid platform. You have to jump down onto the rails. So that was one of the things that was really sketchy for all of us, was to try to go from the ladder and then jump down and then be able to get into the dome. So scary.
It's funny hearing your guys' like experience as taggers there, because it always seemed like you guys were just like, oh yeah, we got this. Like we just need to tag them and that's it. But like, it's funny hearing this like conversation, because it sounded like we all had the same fears. Even though it felt like scarier being the one chased, it's like interesting to hear that there were elements like that for you guys.
For the most part, I didn't want to cut you off. For the most part, I think the time that we had to practice on these courses were not so much as like the contestants. I think we were kind of equal in the time we got to practice, which was kind of scary when you have to chase somebody.
You know, It's funny. We were all under the impression that you guys had like a month to practice.
Oh yeah.
Didn't even come on the show until like 3 days before. Just so you guys know, like Brooke and some of the taggers were not even taggers until the day, like we're getting their clothes sewn in the back scenes while you guys were doing your first race. So like there was definitely not an element of we've been doing this for years, or even the courses didn't exist until the day before filming most of the time. So we would never see a course and then it would be built and then we would be playing dome tag and it would be like the exact, we were all on kind of the same page with that.
Okay. So then I'm curious for the rest of you guys, gentlemen, when you guys first came into the arena, because for me, I mean, I've trained in parkour, but it was always at a gym and everything is padded, you know, and I've said it like a million times. So you guys are probably tired of me saying it, but I came in there also like recovering from a cracked shin and a torn fist. And I was like, oh my God. cool at the gym. When we showed up at Warner Brothers lot and everything was concrete and wood, I was like, dude, this does not seem safe. So curious, what was your internal dialogue? Like, what were you guys thinking about the first time you guys stepped onto the stage and went, oh.
I feel like I panicked at Tempest. When I saw Tempest, I was like, I don't know what I just signed up for. Like, I'm a beast in a weight room, but Tempest was very intimidating. Like, having to learn how to run up the wall and jump over the obstacles, I started to panic. When I went to the course, I was like, you know what? Even though I'm scared and nervous, I exude confidence when I was around Austin and Devon.
Yeah. What about you, Austin?
I don't know. I thought it was a great experience overall. I think the one thing that I would change or take back or do differently is, like, I wish that we could have gotten to know the taggers a little bit more, because they all seem like such great people, and I feel like they were very like, oh, you guys can't see them, and it's like, I don't think we would have ever like collaborated or done anything that they were thinking that we would do. So I thought that whole discrepancy was a little bit odd, and obviously you guys are great people, and you know, I think if they had been at Tempest to help us out, I think it would have been more fun and a better experience overall.
Definitely. Let's get into that last episode, the showdown, element, the showdown. So we had Erykah versus Aisha, and of course, Austin, you were taking on Thurman. Devon and I, we were cheering on the sidelines. But for you guys, I'll start with the guys first. So Thurman, you went first, yes, which is like a nerve-wracking position to be in, because that last in this current moment in time.
Yeah, and then Austin could see my time after I finished. So I was like, oh my God, like I gotta finish this quick, because then Austin knows what to beat. So I was really nervous.
Yeah, what was the scariest part of that for you?
I would say the scariest part would have been jumping over that middle section, because it was a huge drop, and then with Trevor's injury or breaking his ankle and someone for their ACL.
Yeah, Brett.
So I was like, oh my God, if I jump, past this and I fall in that hole, my whole career is over. I'm gonna be in a wheelchair. I know for a fact with my bad luck, I'll break my ankle or break my leg. So that was the most nervous part. And going up that ladder, I was scared, 'cause I'm like, if I fall over, it's a wrap. Like, I'm not gonna be able to recover from that. It's gonna be the biggest in the group to fall over the ladder and get stuck down there in a little dive pit.
And then for Austin, for you, like watching that, like you were doing so good. I was sure, like, first of all, both you guys were amazing. But my heart almost broke every time that you slipped and fell. And I was like, no. And then there was the one part where you jumped over the gap and just like, kaboom. And I was like, oh my God. So, I mean, was it happening so fast that you just couldn't think, or just like, what was going on?
Yeah, I mean, so I rewatching Thurman. He was just like, he literally didn't make any mistakes. Like he went through the course, he got tagged both times, but like he was smooth and he was elegant, and like he did what he needed to do, I think as soon as they threw the kid behind me, I got in my head, I was like, oh man, I need to move, because I know I knew how fast he was. Like I experienced that firsthand, So I had like mind mapped the entire course, and I had a plan for what I was going to do. And then when I hit that ramp to go up into the little hamster hole, I underestimated how difficult that would be to do, and I overran it. So then by the time I actually get into the hole, Corbin is right next to me. And we're literally carefully together. I'm like, whoa, I don't know how I got to you, right? So from that point on, it was just like instinct took over, and I'm just trying to avoid him, right? And I got to avoid him a couple times, and then somehow he ended up in front of me, and I'm like, I don't know how he's a Jedi. And after that, I just got really flustered. My plan went out the window. I jumped over the thing too fast. I almost hit my face. It was embarrassing. And then I was so exhausted at that point. I was like, I'm just gonna climb up here and try to finish this course. So it was a lot of fun. But I'm really happy that I lost to Thurman of all people, because he's incredible dude, and he played really well. He deserved it.
Yeah.
I just have a question with Austin and the kid. I remember we watched it live. Something happened in between that little tunnel. When we had to crawl through, it was like you and the kid were in there for like 3 seconds. I was like, what is going on in there?
I don't exactly remember. I remember just trying to go as fast as possible on that one. And when I got up on top, I remember I was in the hole with him.
Yeah.
I remember that I had like his tag. I was right there, then and there, and then when I grabbed it, it was not there. So I just saw my hands. There was no flag. And I had to go around. I had to give it the biggest push I could, and that's when I got in front of him.
It definitely made for better TV. So
true.
And Aisha, for you, you got to go first. What was your experience? Because there's a few slip ups in there too. And then I think I saw you like go underneath at one point. Was it like Big Deal or Beach Boy?
Beach Boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the hurdles that none of these courses besides Dome are like conducive for small people. Let me just start there. So I knew I was going to be slowing myself down by like trying to hurdle these, except unless you're Erykah, then you're just like a pro hurdler. And so I was trying to like slide underneath them, and he ended up tagging me, which, you know, is fine. But where I got like really caught up was, it's funny to hear you say, Thurman, that like that gap to jump is large. I'm like, you're 6 foot like 2, try being 5'4", and then I accidentally jumped off my non-dominant foot. And that really, like, I scared myself because I didn't think I almost didn't make it, and so that was total like biff. I did not mean to do that at all, so that kind of threw me off. I think what would have been really interesting on the pyramid was if like the tagger started at the bottom with the player, because it just made it like you were gonna get tagged on the pyramid, you know what I mean? Like someone's waiting for you to like muscle up like on there. And by the time I actually got to the pyramid, I was gassed. I mean, like every episode or every game is gonna gas you, but like I really thought that I was gonna be able to like push myself up from like one level to the next, and I ended up needing to use the ramps. So I mean, overall, it wasn't like my worst. I didn't feel like horrible about it, but I definitely wanted to like do a couple things a little bit better. It was fun though. It was a really fun.
Well, then you had the Banshee like screaming at you too, and I was like, that would terrify me. Like alone, I'm like, I'm just trying to do something right now.
That was my first encounter with Banshee, and it was like so theatrical. I almost started like laughing because she's just like such a character on the show, and like you see her go up against other people, and you're like, damn, I'm like glad I'm not paired with Banshee right now. If I was ever gonna be paired with her, I'm glad that it was on the pyramid where it was like, just here's my tag. Like I know you're gonna get it anyways. Now I can just like finish my way up this thing and be on my way from her, because wow, she really got into character.
Yeah. And then Erykah, I mean, you had a pretty amazing run too. Like your first tag was the Geek. He didn't even get your tag, but there were a few times where he was like so close. Could you feel him like swiping at your tag?
Yeah, a little bit. Like when I started, I saw him, and it was just like, I don't know whether to be scared of this guy or be completely turned on, because I was like, he's a geek, and I'm in IT, and I was like, he's a little cutie. Come on, geek, like, tag, I'm it. Like, you know, I didn't know what to do at that point. And then I was like, okay, why am I going over the barriers for? And then I was just trying to strategize, but there's really no way to strategize, because I was gassed by the time I got to the pyramid part. I was like, oh God, I gotta climb this thing. I'm like, my butt's gonna be in the air, and it's like, what? I was like, hopefully my thong isn't showing. Like, you know. But yeah, it was tough to go against Asia though. She's such an amazing person. I was like, can we have a tie and both get the 10 grand? You know, like. So
I agree. It was hard to like be, you know, I didn't like want to lose, but I also didn't want to beat Erykah either. You know what I mean? Like we all were like, we vibed so well, and you know, like we're all competitive, but mostly I think against ourselves. So it was kind of hard to be like, yeah, I'm gonna beat her. I'm gonna beat Erykah. Like I didn't go that way. I just was like, I'm gonna run my own race. I hope it's good enough, you know, and that's how it was for me.
I want to take this like back half of what we're doing on the show and just talk a little bit about you guys and highlight you guys, because going on to set, you walk around and you hear about like this person, Erykah, is training for the Olympics, and like this person has done this and that, and you're like, oh, who cast me in this show? Like, what is happening? But starting with the taggers first, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about like, tell me your background, where you were, where you're going, your training and stuff like that. And I'm gonna start with you, Laura, because I visited your website. I'm so inspired. I love you, and I want you to share.
Well, when we signed on, I thought that they were signing me on because of my story, and so I was kind of like, oh, okay, you know, I'll talk about it. But it turned out that they didn't want my story at all. They just wanted me to be a 6 foot, mean, like badass kind of girl, and that was really exciting for me because it was like the first time somebody saw through my story and just saw an athlete. So that was a big deal to me. But I did start off like I grew up heavy, and then I was over 300 pounds, and I lost a bunch of weight and became a life and health coach. I became a coach, trainer for professional bodybuilders. studied my ass off, loved every minute of it, and just fell in love with being an athlete in all forms, every form, constantly pushing myself into uncomfortable moments. And this show was definitely for me that, because I have no background in parkour or really anything like that. I'm a bodybuilder I'm just a strong bitch. So it brought me in, and I learned so much about myself from this show, which was really exciting. I realized, like, if I have to be, I'm fast as hell and I'll work my ass off. And it was just such a great environment, and we fell madly in love with our taggers. And so I'm so thankful. But yeah, I started from the bottom. Now we're here, I guess.
Nice. Corbin, the kid.
Yeah. For me, I mean, I've been kind of born and raised in Los Angeles, so I've always been around here. And I've been doing parkour since I was like 13, 14 years old. So that's been my background from the beginning. And even on the team, we have a team called Tempest, and Jesse, who is LaFleur, and Spitfire. They're both on my team. And they're some of the best in the world. And so when I'm with them, I am the youngest one. I'm 22 years old right now. And I'm always the kid of the group, no matter where I am. So it just made sense to be called the kid in that aspect. But for the most part, I mean, my background is parkour and all that. I mean, I worked at Tempest that you guys were training at as contestants. I've been working there since I was 15 years old. And so like I've already had like all that experience. But I would say the weird thing was I broke my head a year before the taping of this show. And it was out in Florida. And I had to learn how to talk and walk again. And so I got my body back into that shape. And then finally, because that was after testing, I think. And then that's when we really came into it, and things started happening.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna pass around to the rest of my fellow players. We have about 3 minutes left, so just like really quickly tell everybody like about your background, et cetera, starting with you, Erykah.
Yeah, so I have background in track, and I've always had a competitive like spirit about me. Like currently, I'm training for the Olympic trials to hopefully make it next year. Since with COVID-19, everything got pushed. And then just starting up, hopefully, a scholarship program for kids. That's what some of the money I'm going to do with that. So, yeah.
All right.
Hell yeah.
Talk to me. Tell us.
Who, me?
Devon. Like, he's chilling.
Oh, Devon.
Like, I don't know what he's doing.
I'm vibing. I'm vibing right now.
Can you vibe and tell us a little bit about, like, where you came from? Athletic.
I'm born and raised in LA. High school athlete. Now I'm more into I have like a property management, like film location business. And yeah, that's pretty much what I'm doing right now. This is actually I can't turn the camera around, can I? Oh, yeah. So yeah, this is one of our places that we rent for like film and TV and stuff like that. So
cool. Nice.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
So Thurman, Austin.
If this whole COVID thing wasn't going on, yeah, we could have definitely done that. But
the reunion.
Yes.
The reunion.
Yeah.
Let's do the reunion here.
So Thurman, give me your quick background, Thurminator.
Okay, I'll try to sum it up real quick. It's so funny because I have a similar background to Iron Giantess. Like I grew up as the fat
Where'd he go?
kid, so I was picked on a lot, but I was like a popular fat kid. They used to call me Sherman from Nutty Professor. It used to bother me, but I used that to fuel my success. I was like, you know what, y'all are sleeping on me. Y'all don't see my fullest potential, and I actually like developed a passion in like rom-com. So I fell in love with like Shallow Hal and Cruel Intentions. Because I'm like, I'm gonna judge a person off of their inner beauty instead of their exterior, and I just like kept that mindset. And then I fell in love with sports because that would kind of help my transformation. I joined Little League right after middle school. I lost all the weight, so then I became like thirsty. All the girls was on me, and I was using the the new body to get the lady. And then I kept playing sports. I played 5 years of football. Got finished varsity after my sophomore year. I wrestled throughout high school and made it to regional. Then I went to FIU. I was in the wrestling club at FIU, even though we never got to compete because University of Miami was scared. And got my degree in criminal justice within 3 years. Recently, I interviewed to be a probation and parole officer in Miami, even though I'm still substituting. Acting on the side, and I thought it was really good to go against Austin because Austin is a fitness model that got published in Muscle and Fitness. Devon is like, you know, social media famous. He has like over 1 million subscribers. So just the pairing of all three of us together, I thought was amazing.
All right, Austin, give me the rundown real quick.
Absolutely. So I mean, that's why Thurman and I think vibe so hard is we have very similar backgrounds. But like Laura, I'm a fitness coach. I'm a fitness model. So I'm from San Diego, California. I think the one thing that I love about the industry is, you know, it's so wholesome and it's such a great community. So I actually have my MBA as well, and I'm starting a natural supplement company called TribeCo, and it kind of has this embodies that the fact that the fitness community is like a tribe, and it's an all natural supplement company that is you know, better for you than most of the supplements on the market right now. And that's what I look forward to bringing to the market, because, you know, when you're working out and you're looking to take care of yourself, you're actually trying to better yourself, not put harmful stimulants into your body, you know?
Amen. All right, Aisha, give it to me.
So I actually feel like the Iron Mini. I have like a very similar background where I'm just kind of like an athletic person. I've always loved like sports. I always felt like I was good at a lot of things, but never like exceptional like at one. So I do feel really well-rounded. I wish I had a little bit more of like a parkour or like gymnastics background for this. But primarily my background is in CrossFit, which is hilarious, Laura, to hear that Brooke was like, thought I was mean. I was like, dude, she is, I've seen that. I don't want to go up against her. But anyways, so I feel really strong for my size. I'm only like 5'4" and normally weigh like 125, but I'm expecting now. So, but anyways, like when I'm in my norm, I'm just kind of like a little strong person. And recently, actually right before the show, 2 weekends prior to the show, I had completed my first full marathon in LA. So I ran the LA Marathon 2 weeks before that, which was a big feat for me because I've never really been like an endurance athlete. So, you know, a little bit prior to the show, I had just started tapping into more like endurance running and stuff like that. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much. I had so much fun. I mean, everybody at home, like y'all already know me. You don't need to know anything else about me. The other thing I will say is, yes, I did dancing, cheerleading, blah, blah. I was training in parkour. I did fall on a vault. The obstacle fell on top of me. That sucked. Yeah, and then a few months later, I got asked to do the show, and I was like, oh my God, I don't want to break. So yeah, that's it. That's me. But you guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your day and joining us. I had an amazing time with every single one of you guys on the show. So I'm gonna wish everyone a goodbye. Be sure to follow everybody. I'm at Alikona Bradford. No, I'm not. Just kidding. That's my name. I'm at yours truly, Alikona, with little underscores in between. And really quickly, if you guys could each just give me your social media handles, starting with Laura.
The Iron Giantess.
Aisha.
Aisha Zaza.
Corbin.
Corbin_Reinhardt.
Erykah.
Hook'em girl _fitness.
Austin.
Just Austin Santee.
Thurman.
Thurman B.
Devon True.
All right, y'all. Thank you guys so much. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and follow all of my new friends on social media. Mwah. Bye.
Thank you guys.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.